My name is Kofi, and I need to tell you about the woman who almost destroyed me. But more importantly, I need to tell you about the man who saved my life twice. Once when I was young and broke, and once when I was ready to end it all. You know that feeling when you love someone so much that you give them your last breath? That was me with Kemi. We were high school sweethearts from poor families, but we had something rich people spend millions trying to find. We had real love, or so I thought. I was so wrong. Kemi was the most beautiful girl in our school. Popular, smart, everyone wanted her. But she chose me, a poor boy with nothing but big dreams and an even bigger heart. And back then, she really did love me. The problem was we had nothing. Our family struggled to put food on the table. So while other boys were playing football, I went looking for work. I wanted to give Kemi everything she deserved. That's when I met Baba Tunde, an old farmer who needed help on his land. This man had no children, no family, just acres of farmland and a heart full of wisdom. I worked every day after school, weekends, holidays. My hands got rough, my back ached, but every penny I earned went to making Kemi happy. Baba Tunde became like a father to me. He taught me about hard work, about integrity, about being a real man. Sometimes he'd say strange things like, "Kofi, never trust a woman who only loves you more when you pay. True love doesn't have a price tag." I didn't understand what he meant then. I wish I had listened. After high school, Kemi and I got married. I had saved enough to buy us a small house. We had 2 beautiful children, and I thought this was my perfect life. Then, one morning, I got the call that changed everything. Baba Tunde had passed away. I cried like I'd lost my real father. At the funeral, his lawyer pulled me aside and said, "Kofi, the old man left you everything. The farm, the house, the savings, everything." Kemi was overjoyed. We moved into Baba Tunde's big house, and suddenly we went from poor to wealthy overnight. That's when everything started to change. The money changed Kemi completely. She started buying expensive clothes, going out with new friends, spending money like water. I was working harder than ever, managing the farm, growing the business. I was rarely home, but I thought I was building our future. Kemi started drinking, started partying, started coming home late or sometimes not at all. When I tried to talk to her, she'd get angry and say I wasn't giving her enough attention. Then I started hearing rumors. People would look at me with pity. My heart knew what my mind refused to accept. Kemi was cheating on me. One night, she didn't come home at all. I decided to follow her and find out the truth. What I discovered destroyed me. I found Kemi at a hotel with Emeka, my childhood friend, my brother, the man who was best man at our wedding. I sat in my car and cried like a baby. The 2 people I trusted most in the world had betrayed me in the worst possible way. When Kemi came home, I confronted her. She looked at me with cold eyes and said, "Kofi, I'm not in love with you anymore. I want a divorce. I want half of everything." Then she told me the worst part. While I was trusting her with our finances, she had been making me sign papers I didn't even read. Documents that gave her control of everything, the house, the business, the bank accounts, everything Baba Tunde had left me. In one day, I lost everything. My wife, my best friend, my business, my home. Kemi moved Emeka into the house I had built, and I had to move back to a tiny room. I started drinking to numb the pain. My children would visit sometimes, but I was too ashamed to look them in the eyes. What kind of father loses everything? Until one night, sitting under the same tree where Baba Tunde used to teach me, I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I had a bottle of poison in my hand, and I was ready to end the pain forever.
But then, through my drunken tears, I remembered something Baba Tunde had told me on his deathbed. He had grabbed my hand and said, "Kofi, if a day comes when you lose everything, when you're all alone, go to my lawyer. Tell him it's happening. He'll understand." The next morning, hungover and heartbroken, I went to the lawyer's office. The lawyer's eyes widened, and he opened a sealed envelope and read me a letter from Baba Tunde. It said, "My dear son Kofi, if you're hearing this, it means the woman you loved has shown her true colors. I saw this coming because I lived it myself. That's why I never married, never had children. Most women love wealthy men, but few love the man behind the wealth. But you have a pure heart, so I'm giving you a second chance. I've left you a supermarket and enough money to start over." I broke down crying in that lawyer's office. This man who wasn't even my blood father had planned for my lowest moment. Even in death, Baba Tunde was still taking care of me. I took that supermarket and poured my heart into it. I installed free Wi-Fi so it became a community gathering place. I hired people who needed jobs. I treated everyone with respect and kindness. And slowly, my heart started healing. The business grew. People loved shopping there because it felt like family. My children started visiting more, and I could see pride in their eyes again. Within 2 years, I had 5 supermarkets across the country. One day, a newspaper wanted to do a story about my success. My picture was on the front page with my children, all of us smiling and successful. That same day, Kemi was on the streets, washing cars for coins. After she took everything from me, she and the Mecca had no idea how to run a business. They just spent money and partied. They never paid employees. Within months, everything collapsed. Kemi saw that newspaper while picking up trash. She saw my success, saw our children thriving, and realized what she had thrown away. She came to my supermarket wearing old clothes I had bought her years earlier. When she walked in, the whole store went quiet. My heart started racing. All the pain came flooding back. I wanted to throw her out, but then I looked up and saw a picture of Baba Tunde I had hung in his memory. That picture seemed to say, "You're better than this, Kofi. Do the right thing." So I walked over to her, ready to listen, but before I could speak, one of my customers offered her bread and water. I didn't think anything of it until she started shivering and foaming at the mouth. She collapsed right there in my store. I gave her CPR, trying to save the woman who had destroyed me. As she lay dying, she whispered, "I'm sorry, Kofi. I'm sorry for everything I did to you." Those were her last words. We found out later that the customer who gave her the bread was a former employee she had refused to pay. His family had lost everything because of her greed, and he had been planning his revenge. I explained to my children that their mother had been a good person once, before money changed her. I wanted them to remember her best moments, not her worst mistakes. That's how they could heal and become better people. Today, I own 12 supermarkets across 3 countries. I found true love with a woman named Zara who knew me when I had nothing and loved me anyway. My children are successful and happy, and every day I thank Baba Tunde for saving my life twice. You see, the real lesson isn't about revenge or karma. It's about knowing your worth even when others don't see it. It's about having people in your life who believe in you when you can't believe in yourself. My name is Kofi, and this is my story. A story about how the darkest moment of your life can become the foundation for your greatest comeback. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find out who you really are. And sometimes the people who love you most are preparing blessings you won't understand until you need them most.